Welcome to Legends Among Us, a podcast devoted to the troopers and veterans of 3rd Cavalry Regiment. My name is Chaplain Jason Phipps. We have a great show today, fun show today, as we have actually some members of our UMTs, our unit ministry teams from 3CR joining us today. So we have Sergeant Angelise Torres from Sabre Squadron. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And then we have the newest member of the team, Chaplain Matthew Tramel from Sabre Squadron.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So great to have you both here. And hey, just kind of a free-form conversation, but what I really want to do is just hear one about your experiences, because they're varied at this stage in your careers. Chaplain Tramel, you're like literally in day 5 of your time at Sabre Squadron. And Sergeant Torres, you've been here for what, 2 years at least?
Yes, about that.
Okay, and you've had 2 chaplains that you have worked with since you got here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've kind of seen more the spectrum of experience and personality types, and you were in Korea. Obviously, you deployed to Korea, and then Chaplain Tramel, you basically just got out of BOLIC.
Yep.
And you're still learning the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But you know, you're drinking the right drink. Mm-hmm. You're drinking like a monster or whatever.
That's
so
right.
You're fitting into the really very well.
Okay, glad to hear it. That's good.
It's not that hard. You know, you just go walk around, you'll see people drinking energy drinks. So really, I guess my first question for both of you is to just talk a little bit about, how did you come into the Army? A little bit of your background. How did you end up where you are today? So Sergeant Torres, we'll start off with you.
All right, perfect. I graduated high school, and right after high school, I decided I wanted to join. I knew that was like the best choice for me at that time. I knew like my mom wouldn't afford for me to go to college, so I was like, I got to figure this out myself. So I decided to enlist, and when I found this MOS, I was like, that's the one. Like, if I was to join, that'd be the MOS I'd want. Because at the time, I was also attending church. I was new to church. I was like a sophomore in high school. And my mom started going to church. I saw how God transformed her. So I was curious. And yeah, the Lord drew me in. And here I am.
That's great. So it really was God putting that desire upon your heart, if you will, to come here. Well, to come into the Army, but specifically to serve as a religious affairs specialist. Did you even understand the mission of the Chaplain Corps when you were signing on the dotted line, or were you just like, this is...
Initially, I knew it was a religious aspect, and I knew we'd have, I guess, a sort of reach to the soldiers that other MOSs might not have that kind of reach. So I thought it was a really awesome opportunity to be able to reach more souls, you know, like just reach more soldiers and inspire and motivate them the same way I was motivated when I met God. So,
okay.
Yeah. There's
definitely a reason to apply force multiplication to the Chaplain Corps as well, because we're certainly trying to increase the morale. We're trying to increase really the spiritual well-being of soldiers in addition to increasing their lethality. So that's great to hear. What about you, Chaplain Tramel? I'm sure your story is long and very eventful.
You know,
how you got here.
The shortest answer is yes. The Lord's leading, one word, God. But
yes.
Some more details. It comes down to Chaplain Jake Snodgrass really recruiting me over the course of the last 5 or 6 years. And that even goes back to whenever I was just a toddler. My dad's first church to ever pastor in middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Chaplain Snodgrass was a teenager in the youth group. And then I reconnected with him randomly in college. He was a chaplain at Fort Carson. I think he was with 10th Group at that point.
Yes.
And he was speaking at a discipleship conference that I was at as a college student. And so there's this Army chaplain. He's speaking and he's doing a great job. And he mentioned how he was from this town called Ames, Oklahoma. And I was like, dude, nobody's from Ames, Oklahoma. That's got to be a joke. So I go talk to him, and yeah, it turns out my dad was his pastor. It was 1994. I was not even a year old yet. And so we connected at that point. It would have been 2013, 2014. And my ministry background, my wife and I, we were inner city church planters. for a number of years in Oklahoma, and just our philosophy with ministry was we want to live with and around the people who we're going to minister to.
Sure.
And, Chaplain Snodgrass and I, we'd been friends at that point, and he had seen some of what our ministry was and just how we were wired, specifically in the things that we wanted to do and the ways we wanted to be a part of people's lives in a very close way. And so I'd say 2019, 2020 was when he started calling me and saying, hey, I really think you should consider being a chaplain in the Army. I think you and your wife would really enjoy it. I think you're wired for it. And also, he knew that I really liked fitness, and he goes, man, we could really use some fit chaplains too. I'd love to have you in here. Please consider this. And so it was at least once or twice a year from 2019 and on that he would call me or shoot me a text. And it was in the fall of, I'd say it was last fall of 2024. I saw it was his birthday on Facebook, so I shot him a text saying, hey, man, happy birthday. And he goes, hey, good to hear from you. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And so I knew, hey, he's going to make the plug again, but the reason why we hadn't made the jump in the past was when he first started talking to us, there were some deaths in my immediate family, and there's some deaths in my wife's family, and I started to work on the paperwork, actually, and my wife said, Matt, will you please just pump the brakes a little bit? Things are a mess, which was really wise of her. I like to jump headfirst into things really quickly, and so I'm glad I've got my wife to kind of balance me out. But it was, fall of last year when I spoke with Chaplain Snodgrass. And my wife and I, at that point, we've been praying specifically like, okay, God, we really miss ministry. At that point, I was serving in Kansas City. I had worked at Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary for a bit, was pursuing doctoral studies, but we missed ministry. And we were praying really specifically, God, where would you like for us to be? Where should we consider going back to? And that's whenever Jake started that conversation. And so he and I had that initial first talk, and it went really well. And so then we FaceTimed him and his wife, Heather, and we just asked a lot of the hard questions. And by the end of that talk, we were both really encouraged. And my wife, Katie, said, Matt, go talk to a recruiter. And so from there on, the Lord just started answering some really specific prayers in really quick amounts of time. So I started last fall, my application. I made the February review board, and I was at Chibolik by that summer. And I've now been here at Fort Hood for about a month or so.
It is good to have you here. That's an interesting story, Chaplain Tramel, and everybody has their own reasons for coming in. But I think what people often underestimate, and this is what I would share with our listeners, is that people have kind of a preconceived notion of what a chaplain does in the Army, that we are preaching all the time, doing Bible studies, doing counseling, and maybe we're giving out candy as well, or doing something like that. We're doing some sort of battlefield circulation. But what a lot of people don't assume, because we are human beings as well, and this is true of everybody who comes into the Army, is that there is a degree of excitement and calculated, perhaps controlled risk that even chaplains like to take, and that's why they join the Army. The truth of the matter is that we have many chaplains who have done great things, who've gone through Jump Master, Ranger School, Pathfinder. They've really embraced the Army culture in addition to formulating this incredible pastoral identity, and people who love fitness as well, chaplains and religious affairs specialists who love fitness and see the value of that and see how that complements their ministry by giving them credibility. Speaking of which, you just graduated from SLC? BLC, oh my gosh. You recently graduated from BLC, and just to actually lend some valid credibility to what I'm saying, Sergeant Torres, you graduated from BLC. You were the Iron Soldier of your class. So talk a little bit about that. And really, when you talk about it, like talk as if you're talking to troopers within 3CR or even in the Army about what that is and what that means to you.
Yeah, so I was very proud, and honestly, before I got into BLC, my previous chaplain, he was a very motivated person. As soon as I got to the unit, we always would go on runs, and he just took me to another level of discipline. And I knew like he expected a lot from me because he's taught me so much. I've always wanted to be the best version of myself. So when I went to BLC, I knew that was an award, and I was like, I'll try my best to get it. If not, it's okay. Tried my best. So getting that award was really awesome. I don't think I would have really paid attention to it as much if I wouldn't have had that mentor. So I feel like a lot of soldiers, they're missing like a really good mentor in their lives. So they say like, tell me who you hang around and I'll tell you who you'll become or who you are. I feel like that's really important, not just in the Army, but also in the civilian world. So having a mentor really helped a lot.
It does, because mentors can teach you how to find intrinsic motivation yourself. Some people they know what intrinsic motivation is. In other words, they don't need something external to motivate them to do greater things, to excel. But a lot of times a mentor is someone who introduces that concept into your life so that you realize, you start to think outside of your own limited sphere of understanding, that like I can do greater things. I can kind of break limits that I just assumed were impossible to break. So that's, yeah, props to Chaplain Wilson for shepherding you that way. And now you have that opportunity, obviously, to do that yourself with others, because I certainly see you with great potential down the road, E6, E7, and you're going to be mentoring other 56 mics in that same capacity. So that's great. Chaplain Tramel, what has your impression been, despite the fact that it's only been a few days, of Sabre Squadron, of Cav culture, of ForceCom in general? Like, how have you received all of this?
I'm completely for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having so much
good.
fun. I'm having a blast right now.
It is fun. It is awesome.
It is a lot of fun. I got introduced to the guys at Sabre Squadron a week ago, last Friday. And after they introduced me, they go, all right, we've got a competition. And so they ended their week with formation. And there's a competition between officers and enlisted soldiers. And it was just fun. They were rowdy, had a good time. And so that I could tell immediately that was just the culture. There is a healthy rowdiness that I really appreciate and look forward to getting to jump into and to be a part of. I had a lot of friends who, once they saw that I bought the Stetson, they're like, oh man, you drank the Kool-Aid fast. And I'm like, well, one, it's just a really cool hat. But two, I'm not opposed to drinking the Kool-Aid either. Like, this is just a really fun culture. It's a great team, a solid group of guys. So my impression has been nothing but good, to be honest with you. I've really enjoyed every second of it.
That's good. Yeah, I have told people, you talk about drinking the Kool-Aid, and I've gotten to this place where I'm starting to tell people, I don't just drink the Kool-Aid, I try and actually serve the Kool-Aid to people. So it seems like I've had some success with you in terms of drinking the Kool-Aid. So as people come in, I will do the same. But I don't know what it is about this place. I've been to some pretty storied units, but 3rd Cavalry Regiment has like a culture all its own that is it's just hard to describe. It's just a great place to meet other people, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day, are the people. So you've been here for 2 years. You've been exposed to the culture longer than either of us. How have you embraced the culture here? What have been some of the highlights, maybe some things that have caused you to think twice about certain things within the Army?
I'll start with the highlights. So I think anytime we have any type of field problem, NTC, Korea, those are the times when we connect most with each other. So you get to meet other soldiers and hear their stories. You can give them your story, or as far as the not so good, it's hard to say.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
I don't want to expose.
Right. No, I can sense that you're like, I don't want to dime anybody out right now. That's totally okay. I mean, I think anybody who listens to this show or who has been in the Army for more than a day knows that an organization is not perfect.
Yeah.
And we're wrestling through some things right now, but so are 30 other units in the Army wrestling with different issues that are in some cases endemic to the Army, but maybe some of them are more specifically related to the culture within that organization. You mentioned Chaplain Wilson as a mentor. You've talked about BLC and your success there. That has opened some doors for you. And what I should have asked you was, have you been anywhere before here, or was this your first assignment?
This was my first assignment.
Okay, so this is your only really experience with the Army. But as I mentioned, there's some doors that have opened. You're going to get to kind of open up the aperture a little bit more in terms of your experience. What is ahead for you?
For right now, my main goal is my airborne school and my bachelor's degree. I'm considering chaplaincy after Italy. I have a lot to get done, a lot of education. I'm considering it, but for right now, those are my main goals. I really just want to help others any way I can, no matter if I'm a 56 Mike or a 56 Alpha.
I don't know if you told me about your aspirations to be a chaplain. Maybe you have. Where are you at with your bachelor's?
So I'm not very far ahead.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I've maybe done like 2 classes or so.
Okay, so you're slowly kind of chipping away.
Yeah.
It's a lot to chew at once. But you are going to airborne school. That's like locked in. And when you're leaving a week from today, right?
Yes,
Okay.
next Friday.
I know how you got that school, but explain to everybody else how you managed to get airborne school.
To get airborne school, it was mostly the things that people don't see. I'd say like just being consistent with your physical fitness.
Okay.
Especially like running, just pushing yourself even if others aren't. Some people aren't always going to put in the same effort, but I'd say consistency, and don't go by what one person says, because sometimes people stop. Like someone says no and then they just stop. But I'd say like always take initiative and just keep trying.
Specifically, though, this was like an incentive of re-enlistment. That's how you got the school. But the way you're describing it, you wouldn't have gotten that incentive had you not been in shape, motivated, done with BLC, and focused on the future of your career. Would you say that that's a pretty accurate assessment?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'm the type of person, like, if I set a goal, I know I'm going to achieve it no matter what.
So the beauty of what you're saying is that mentality transcends what people see. It transcends kind of the negativity, I suppose, that can exist within an organization like this, that even a leg unit that doesn't really care about whether or not you're airborne qualified, and, you know, in many ways is just struggling with the daily, weekly issues that we have, that there are still these great things that occur. And it's very easy to overlook those things when you're simply focused on the negative all the time. So that's really why I wanted you to share that story and how that happened, to inspire other people to do the same thing, to just not assume that because you've come to 3CR, your life is over, especially for a first-term soldier who doesn't know anything else. Because I always tell people, if you've never been anywhere else, then you can't say this is the worst place you've been if you don't have another unit to compare it to. So, well, that's great. Very excited for you. Either one of you can answer this question, but what do you think are the greatest needs of troopers from the foxhole of a UMT?
I'd say some soldiers experience a lot of maybe loneliness because they're away from family, especially the single soldiers. In terms of, in general, a lot of people struggle with having purpose, or they don't know their identity or their purpose, or they don't have goals. They just go day by day. Okay, I got to go to the mortar pool and do this at PMCS, and then I'm out.
Right.
Next day, it's like a routine, but they should have their personal goals outside of the Army. And I'd say just having some type of support system.
Sure. About you, Chaplain Tramel, has any of the Sabre leadership talked to you about, like, hey, here are some of the issues that we're trying to address?
Yeah, so upon first coming here, whenever I was introduced to the guys, it was really cool. People were happy that I was there, but there's some guys who yelled out like, yeah, hey, we need you, Chap. We're glad you're here. And so even just in the last, I'd say week and a half, I've gotten some time with some soldiers already. And hard stuff happens. And I think, to answer your question, one of the greatest needs that soldiers have is just somebody who's willing to walk with them through not just the ups but the downs. Somebody who's willing to enter into their junk, enter into their mess, their suffering, their pain, their hurt, their loss, and stick it out with them until the end. And so that's one of the best parts about being a chaplain specifically. It's like, in one sense, are you an officer? Sure, but you're not the officer in the sense that a different officer would be. And so I've already had people in my office who just come in and they're able to let loose with me in a way that they're not able to with other forms of leadership. And it's been really encouraging, even just in the last couple of days of being here, thinking, okay, I'm getting to walk in this role now. And so that's actually my biggest goal at this point, is trying to get time with some leadership, trying to get to know these guys so that way they know, hey, Chaplain's here and this door's open. So to answer your question, I would say ultimately the greatest need that I see and that I've experienced in ministry and that I'm seeing right now is just somebody who's willing to walk with soldiers through what they've got going on in their life And that's usually hardship and suffering and loss and pain, but also it's to be on the opposite end of the spectrum of like, hey, I know how to celebrate with people too. I know how to build them up and not just help them get out of a mess, but encourage them in all the good that's going on in their life and to keep them going forward in that direction.
There's a beatitude from Matthew, and let me see if I can find it, the one that I'm looking for. This comes out of the Bible, but I think there's some value in this for everyone. And it's Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Now, the second half of that verse, for those who don't, read the Bible, it might be prone to interpretation, but this idea of the peacemakers with an organization being blessed, I think there's a lot of value in that statement alone, because you all exist for the purpose of bringing peace to people's lives. We exist for the purpose of bringing resolution to conflict, if you will, not just amongst soldiers and their spouses or maybe a first sergeant and a platoon sergeant, but really among everybody. We exist to help bring peace and resolution to conflict that exists at every echelon. So I love that verse because I feel like it has a lot of application for what we do on a daily basis, because this stuff kind of never goes away. These problems never go away. We get enough serious incident reports every week to keep us employed for quite some time. So how has it been for both of you, and either one of you can answer first, to interact with your peers? Just for those of you who are listening, we have 5 different squadrons currently. We used to have 7. We have 5 different squadrons in a regimental headquarters, so we have a total of 6 UMTs, and right now we're at 100% strength. Actually, we're like closer to like 105% strength. So we have 5 squadron chaplains, 1 regimental chaplain, and then 5 Religious Affairs NCOs and 1 regimental NCO. I'm just kind of curious, how have you all got along with your counterparts? And when I think about unity of effort, I think about how well you get along, how much perhaps shared suffering you're experiencing together. How are you all kind of learning and growing from your foxholes with your peers?
Yeah, I've had nothing but positive encounters and experiences with my peers, even just from the first meeting that I showed up. I think it was the week that I moved in before I actually signed in and started in processing. You let me know, you said, hey, we've got a team sync up. If you want to come meet everybody, come to Lucky 16. And so I showed up, and first, everybody was really warm, really welcoming. But 2, a couple of guys there who had experience that I didn't were immediately offering it to me and were saying, hey, I've got this, whatever you need. You just give me a call and I can help you with it. So my experience has been nothing but solid, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I'm having to figure this out on my own. I know I've got some peers, and also even just with your help as well, I know there's always somebody who's just a phone call away who can back me up, who can help me sort through something, who can help me figure it out. And so ultimately, I've been really encouraged by just the camaraderie and the closeness of the UMTs here at 3CR.
I agree. Since the first day I got here, 56 mics I've met, they've all been really kind and supportive. Any type of goal I've accomplished, they've been very supportive, or they've tried to be present. Because we have similar ages, we just connect more and just talk. Anytime I have a question about work, they're there.
Well, and it is unprecedented that all of our 56 mics, I would say the last probably 10 months, have been female, about the same age. And we got PFC Boa, who's the first male 56 mic that we've had in like 10 months. So I can certainly understand the camaraderie there. And then, of course, Sergeant Sal coming in, being a female as well, replacing Sergeant Lopez. When I talk about unity of effort, I think you guys are kind of firing on all cylinders as 56 mics, which is always encouraging for us. There's always room for growth, obviously, on both ends of the spectrum. But, well, as we kind of get close to wrapping this thing up, my question that I tend to ask a lot of people who come on the show is, what would you say to somebody who is like a prospective soldier that is maybe brand new, in this case, maybe brand new to 3CR, and they don't know what to make of this place, or they're already starting to kind of believe this negative thought loop of, this is not a great place based upon reputation, based upon the rumor intelligence that they're getting. from other individuals that have been here perhaps longer that just don't have a great impression of this place, because a lot of it is what you make of it. It's not what exists, it's what you choose to make of it. So what would you all say as chaplain and as a religious affairs NCO to that soldier that's struggling to see the good in what is perceived to be a very negative situation?
In my perspective, I'd tell them whatever faith tradition they have, always have that. Because in my faith tradition, I know wherever I go, God is with me and He's supporting me. He's there and He knows what you're going through. So I'd say that's the number one. Number two, it's very important to have some type of support system, like maybe one really good friend, or it doesn't have to be military. It can be a civilian, as long as you just have that one person you can talk to.
Sure. This is a huge installation, and it's amazing how many people live here, and yet they don't know each other. Because you go back to your rooms and you turn on your TVs or your phones or whatever, and nobody knows anybody, even though there's thousands of people that live on this post. So that is a great point, is to find somebody. I don't know if that's like a COVID generation thing. We just got used to isolating ourselves and surviving, adapting physiologically to being isolated and not being in relationship. But the reality is that obviously God has created us to be in relationship, regardless of who we are, what our background is, what our age is. So we can always default to, yes, be in relationship, be in fellowship with other people.
It's funny that you asked this question. I'm in the PCS Fort Hood page on Facebook, right? And somebody just posted a question last night saying, hey, I'm going to Fort Hood. Haven't heard the best things. This is what I want to do with my time. I don't want to do these activities. I don't want to mess around here, and here. Like, I enjoyed this and this and this. Can you guys please just help me find somewhere, some people who I can start to spend time with? Because they wanted to avoid terrible choices. They wanted to avoid the stigma, and they wanted to press into what was good and what would benefit their life. And people just started commenting saying, hey, this is me. I like doing these things. If you want to come hop in, please, you're welcome to. And so I think your comment on a good support system is huge. I was told by Chaplain Snodgrass day one, he goes, wherever you go, you got to make up the mind that you're going to bloom wherever you're planted.
Sure.
And so I think in one sense, yeah, wherever you show up, you've got to realize, okay, I'm here. This is where I'm at. How can I make the best of this? What is my support system and what resources are available to me as well? I'm learning just how, obviously I know that I'm a chaplain, right? But I'm hearing and seeing every single day how helpful chaplains have been in helping people get sorted into things that they want to be a part of and avoiding things that they know they need to avoid. And so support network, resources, and just making up the mind of like, okay, I'm going to bloom here. I'm not going to wither away. I'm not going to choose things that are going to be poison for me, but I'm going to bloom here and make the best out of this. So ultimately, I think if you step into it with that, if you look into the resources that you have available to you, you're going to be able to find something good and to make something good out of your time here at Fort Hood.
I would encourage you who are listening, who are a part of 3CR, to by all means reach out to your chaplains, reach out to your religious affairs NCOs and specialists, because they do have insights into life and spirituality and resources as well that will help you grow in your identity. Thank you both for being here. And you haven't done a spur ride yet, but you're leaving. Or you have done a spur ride.
Yes, I did my spur ride in Korea last year, sir.
That's right.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Are you wearing your spurs right now? I can't see.
I'm not wearing them right now.
Okay. All right. And then you're hopefully going to do one with First Cav next month.
First week or so of October, yeah.
Okay, good. Has Chaplain Adams written your name down for submission?
I'm not sure. He said that he would. He brought it up, and the second that he brought it up, I'm like, I've got to do that. And and it's funny, when I went into my office day one, there's some things that have been left over from the previous chaplain, but they're just a pair of spurs that are sitting there on the bookcase, and they stare me down every day. Yeah. And so I'm looking forward to doing the spur ride.
Okay, good. It's a fun experience for sure. All right. Thanks, guys.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that was another great episode this week with a few members from the UMTs here within 3CR. Perhaps next time we will have some more chaplains and religious affairs specialists and NCOs here on the show to give their perspective on ministry in 3rd Cavalry Regiment. If you liked what you heard, please leave some comments with your preferred streaming service, and by all means give us a thumbs up as we are trying to expand our listening audience. Have a great week. Aya.